Hey everyone, my name is Sarah Blackstock and I'm the Marketing Manager for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Thank you for attending today's webinar on e-Business Suite and HID's migration that set the stage for $1 billion revenue growth. Before we get started, I'd like to review a few housekeeping items. This webcast is designed to be interactive between you and the presenters. The webcast console you're looking at can be completely customized. You can resize or move any of the windows that you have open. At the bottom of your audience console, there are multiple application widgets you can use. We currently have the Q&A widget open on the right-hand side of the screen for your benefit. You can also click it at the bottom of the screen if you don't see it open. Please submit any questions that you have throughout this presentation. We'll be answering those live. A copy of today's deck and a link to the OCI free services are available in the resource list as well. A recording of this presentation will be made available shortly after the live presentation concludes and can be accessed from the same registration link that you used to register for this event. If at any point during today's presentation you experience audio or screen issues, please refresh your browser. And if your issues continue, please confirm that you have Adobe Flash installed and enabled. Due to the material that we'll be covering during today's presentation, we request that you review our Safe Harbor statement. And again, thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. We're excited to walk through the HID Global Cloud Migration. Today we are joined by Vish Patwardhan, Strategy and Business Development Lead for IaaS and PaaS here at Oracle. I'm going to hand it over to Vish to introduce our guest speakers and kick off today's webinar.
Thank you, Sarah. Welcome, everybody. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome both of our co-presenters today. Satish Shanmugasundaram, who's the Senior Director of Enterprise Applications at HID Global, and Jim Brule, who's a Managing Partner at Centroid. A little bit about HID Global. They're in the security and identity business, and their goal was to change their business model entirely and move to a subscription-based model. They wanted to double their top line as part of that, basically add $1 billion to that top line, and then double that again and do that very, very quickly. And they knew that they had to focus on their core competencies if they wanted to be able to meet these aggressive timelines and this aggressive goal. So as part of that, they decided to exit their data center business, make IT operations lean, and as part of that, they moved a lot of Oracle applications, e-Business Suite, Agile, Oracle middleware out of their data center into Oracle's infrastructure cloud. And now they're looking to, as part of phase 2, move non-Oracle applications and technologies to Oracle's infrastructure as well. So what we'll do is really majority of the time is going to be Jim and Satish sharing their stories. But what I'll do is in the first few minutes cover Oracle's infrastructure cloud capabilities, and then that will hopefully help set the stage for why customers are looking to Oracle's infrastructure to help them with their business objectives, such as growing their business by $1 billion. And then I'll turn it over to Satish, who'll talk about how HID was able to transform their business, and then I'll have Jim cover how they worked with HID in enabling that journey. Jim, again, is a managing partner at Centroid, and Centroid was the systems integrator that did all of this work to help HID along with their journey. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Oracle's infrastructure cloud. And again, there are a number of infrastructure cloud vendors out there. Everybody offers compute, network, storage, multiple availability, domains and regions and so on. But generally speaking, what I find is that if you're a consumer of infrastructure, there are probably 6 tenets that are important for you. Price, performance, security, consumption, service level agreements, and architecture. And depending on your role within the organization, some may be more important than others. But generally speaking, if you can get infrastructure at a cheaper price point that performs more consistently and performs better, is highly secure, and is easy to consume, offers better service level agreements, both from availability, but not just that, performance and manageability aspects as well, and is better architected, that allows some of the other tenets to be realized and materialized, that would of course be of interest. So let's talk a little bit about price. And this is based off of publicly available information. You'll find that Oracle's pricing is substantially better, anywhere from 418% in some cases, 7,900% better than some of our competition, which again, when you add everything up, ultimately leads to a much cheaper bill at the end of the month. And not only that, but if you look at region-wide differences, Oracle has consistent pricing worldwide, whereas with other cloud vendors, that tends to vary. So that 7,900% more cost for AWS number or metric that we looked at before, well, that was assuming you consumed that block storage resource in the US. If you were to do that in Japan or Brazil, that would be 8,140% more, or in the case of Brazil, 11,270% more. If you were to compare performance, you can look at this independent study that was done by Storage Review, where they ran multiple workloads, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle databases, VDI, and mixed workloads on Oracle's infrastructure, Amazon, as well as an on-premise systems that had all-flash array. Oracle performed consistently better across all of these workloads. There's another comparison against Amazon, and you look at any of the rows there, be it compute, memory, block storage. For compute, Oracle offers 45% more compute, 14% more memory, and 1,400% more block storage from performance standpoint. Now, this is important not just for the sake of bits and bytes, but again, if you're planning on running your enterprise workloads that are responsible for your business operation, you want to make sure that you're getting the performance that you need for your back-end mission-critical applications, and that it's consistent. If you were to compare security, there's a long list of differences in terms of how Oracle infrastructure security works versus some of the other cloud vendors. Really, it was built from the ground up to be highly secure end-to-end. So the virtualization is off-box. What that means is that Oracle control plane code runs separately, not within your virtualized environment. So number one, you get everything that is vended to you, and number two, it's much more difficult for ransomware attacks or any kind of malware attacks to spread from customer tenancies to Oracle's control plane and then on to other customer tenancies and vice versa. So no trust posture. Oracle offers Oracle Data Safe for its databases, again, number of capabilities. There's end-to-end encryption for everything that is at rest and in motion. We do secure host swipes with a hardware root of trust. We allow vulnerability testing with third-party tools. So a number of differences in how Oracle secures its infrastructure compared to, again, some of the other cloud vendors out there. Now, from a consumption standpoint, Oracle knows and fully expects that your consumption needs are going to change over time. So there's a simple contract, a simple buying experience with universal cloud credits or UCCs which give you access to all of the current services as well as future cloud services that Oracle might make available as well. And you have the ability to upgrade or expand or move those services across data centers as well. So you're not locked into a specific set of services that you sign up for, but really have the flexibility to consume any service, again, current as well as future. Here's another significant difference with what Oracle's service level agreements are versus some of the other cloud vendors that are out there. All of the cloud vendors offer availability SLAs, and that just says that the resource that you have subscribed to will be available, you can ping it, etc. But none of the other cloud vendors offer performance guarantees or manageability guarantees or service level agreements around it. Oracle offers guarantees around performance and manageability of your footprint as well. In other words, the ability to scale it up or down. And we guarantee that with service level agreements. And if there are violations, Oracle will give you service credit for performance as well as manageability SLA violations. So the reason Oracle is able to offer these differentiated capabilities is because Oracle's infrastructure cloud is architected fundamentally differently. It's ready and built for enterprise-grade workloads. And so certainly it preserves some of the great capabilities of the first generation of clouds, be it resource elasticity, high scale, ease of use, but then layers on top of that superior performance, consistent performance, better economics, etc. And it, at the heart of it are some architectural differences like flat non-blocking network. Of course, it's built on the latest hardware. Every single database option is available, which of course you'd expect from Oracle, everything from Exadata to Rack, which is not available on any of the other clouds. Bare metal offering, which is not available on some of the clouds. But really, it's not about whether something performs better or faster or is cheaper, but it's about how that's being used to unlock business potential and enable business transformation. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Satish, who's going to talk to us a little bit about how they were able to add $1 billion to their top line and what they're looking to do next. So over to you, Satish.
Thanks, Vish. So I'm going to go over our HID story on our journey to OCI. First of all, who is HID? We as a company, we're a company that provides, trusted identities to the world, to people. The best way to know HID is to flip your badge over and you'd see HID, and then everybody recognizes who HID is. So we make products and we provide services in the access control and the security space. One of our main motives in going to OCI and moving our workloads into OCI was really to support our business, really, and to keep pace with the business growth, and to harden and scale up our footprint, infrastructure footprint in the cloud to meet that demand, and to support new initiatives that were coming on board. We had a target to double our revenue, and we're going to double it again. So again, just to meet that demand, and also we are moving quite heavily into a recurring revenue model. Normally we sell widgets and we recognize revenue on a widget, but now we're trying to sell subscriptions and recognize revenue on it. So the EBS upgrade provided features more natively to meet that need. And of course, we wanted to eliminate our data center footprint. The moving to OCI really provided that opportunity and was a key enabler to meeting that need. And of course, realizing the cost savings that come with such a migration. Why Centroid? Well, when we decided to take up this journey, we really had a choice. I mean, we were technically skilled to do this ourselves, but of course, this was something that we'd have to relearn to do, and this was not our core competency. We really wanted to focus on our business and running our business, and we wanted to partner with a partner that really knew what they were doing. And given Centroid's experience in this space, deep experience in cloud and an e-business suite, really was a differentiating factor for us in choosing Centroid. And we wouldn't have gone with anyone else, just given their track record. Our scope was the entire back office. What we mean by back office is all the applications that support our G&A applications and manufacturing applications and that sort of thing. And the applications in scope was our entire e-business suite footprint. We use Agile PLM for our lifecycle management, so that was in scope. Vertex embedded in EBS for tax calculations, and SOA PIP, really, which is the middleware connecting e-business suite to Agile PLM, and a few other applications. We also took the opportunity to upgrade EBS from 12.1 to 12.2.7 for the folks that know EBS well. It's a major shift from a stack perspective in going from 12.1 to 12.2. So that added another dimension to the move to OCI. We were just not moving the workloads. We're also doing a major stack change into based on the WebLogic framework. And this is again where Centroid comes in, because they've done their deep experience in EBS helped in bring us forward. Our project timeline was 24 weeks for EBS upgrade and rollout of the new subscription billing functionality. Combined with that, in parallel, was moving our Agile PLM footprint, so a PIP footprint, Vertex, and Discoverer. For those of you that still use Discoverer, we use it as well, and that was moved along. And 4 weeks for the second phase of the 5 remaining back office applications. We decided to split this up into the first big batch and then the remaining 5 back office, just from a priority perspective and kind of how they fit along with, they fit into the landscape strategy. At this point, I'll hand it off to Jim Brule from Centroid, our partner who helped us through this journey.
Thank you, Satish. And by the way, nice job in your presentation. I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking about Centroid, who we are, what we do in the marketplace, and who we are for. Centroid is a cloud services and technology company that provides Oracle Enterprise Workload Consulting and managed services across the Oracle public cloud. We're one of 5 certified MSP partners in North America, MSP managed service providers, and those certifications require extensive certifications, third-party audits, a lot of SOC 2 Type 2 compliance checks. One of 20 Oracle CEI certified excellence implementers for their software as a service products in North America. We have over 180 employees, and we've got 35% year after year growth for the last 4 years, and we have over 155 professional certifications across the organization. Some of the awards and certifications we have achieved in the industry and by our partner Oracle, as well as from our customers over the years. I just spoke about how we're certified from Oracle as one of their MSP partners, as well as one of their SaaS certified partners across cloud financials and cloud supply chain. We've won awards in 2014, 15, 16 for North America Engineered Systems Technology Partner of the Year. Our expertise is a broad range of applications, technology, and infrastructure. Such applications such as e-business suite and business intelligence, and of course, anything to do around the technology stack like database and middleware. We're in Inc. Top 5,000 fastest growing company for the last 4 years. We just completed our 2019 SOC 2 Type 2 audit. And in 2018 and 17, we've won awards from Oracle, as well as one of our customers, Subaru, won Cloud Platform Innovation Award from Oracle for the innovations and the solutions that they did and that we helped architect for them. What we do in the marketplace, our expertise covers the applications, technology, and infrastructure, most of it all around cloud technologies these days. Back in 2016, we innovated and updated our core capabilities and competencies, taking it from a lot of the legacy applications and on-premise systems to being cloud-first, cloud strategy for our customers and for our organization. And so therefore we cover a lot of SaaS applications that Oracle has, their platform as a service, which covers lots of products and services, and their infrastructure as a service like compute, storage, and networking that we have excelled at over the years. That expertise helps us plan, move, and manage those cloud workloads. Plan, we help customers with a cloud strategy if they don't have one, or we help them validate what they've put together. We help them look at those workloads that they have in their data centers, like HID talked about, multiple data centers, and we went and discovered and inventoried everything and found the right fit. Where does it run best on? And in their case, it ran best at Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, both on infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. Once we figured out that strategy, what we were moving and where to, we helped them move that. And so our cloud migration accelerators and methodologies helps organizations move their enterprise workloads quickly and securely to Oracle Cloud. And once it's there, we help organizations manage those workloads so that they can focus on what they do best and run the business. Who we are for, these are the industries that we have excelled in for the 22 plus years. Consumer goods like Dairy Gold, distribution, Amway, entertainment like Riot Games, high tech, Toshiba, finance and banking, Lending Club, manufacturing, Subaru, retail, Tilly's, and of course security, HID Global. These represent a lot of the industries, and of course we have a lot of customers across those industries over the last 22 years that we have helped move their workloads and manage them in Oracle Cloud. In HID's global cloud journey, some of the key considerations that Satish spoke about, doubling their revenue in 4 years, getting out of the data center business, but at the same time, they just didn't want to lift and shift those workloads, those enterprise workloads that run their business, to the cloud. They also wanted to move and improve, so as they went along that journey, they were getting more value out of that migration than just the migration by itself. HID's cloud journey wasn't just to move their enterprise workloads as a lift and shift and move it across to OCI. They had a lot more business initiatives and motives that Satish talked about, but also a little bit deeper into those things that they've realized in a business case to really move and improve, not just lift and shift, was around innovation, performance, and cost. Innovation around, they wanted to make sure they were getting the latest features, functionality around the new technology and the new applications. So the move and improved helped them do that by doing an EBS upgrade and then also getting to the latest features and functionalities of Oracle technology in the application and within OCI. Oracle, OCI is SLA backed, one of the only providers out there providing that 4 nines, whereas others are different. So that was an additional benefit and gain that HID had in their journey to the cloud. They went and make sure that they had an infrastructure that not only performed, but was also scalable and also provided monitoring across the entire stack. Reduce operating cost. They didn't want to sit there and have to spend time, resources, money doing hardware refreshes every 4 to 5 years like most companies do. They wanted a predictable cost model in achieving, their cost, performance, and innovation moving to the cloud. They wanted to get to that OPEX model, not worry about CapEx every 4 or 5 years of doing those refreshes. Some of the challenges that most organizations have with their on-premise is not always updating their systems with the latest versions, their applications or their technology, and sometimes their deployment times, their long lead times. So a lot of times upgrades or new applications and features don't come along, even the major patches, unless somebody goes through a hardware refresh, and then they sit there and take those long cycles to do those things, both for the business as well as technology. And at the same time, not everybody's focusing on security or disaster recovery. I could tell you hundreds and hundreds of stories that usually organizations, when you talk about DR, they think of having a backup as their disaster recovery or their continuity plan. And so HID had similar challenges across the app stack and the security in the DR. But part of the solutions of moving to OCI was to stay current in a much more repetitive and a quicker fashion, being able to deploy things, being able to scale, and also being able to take advantage of what OCI offers, both as a platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, being able to have HA in DR and have it implemented in a very, very quick fashion. Why did HID choose OCI? Well, there were for many reasons. We've spoke about them, throughout the presentation. So I'm just going to touch on a few of these points instead of diving down into a lot of detail. But it gave them increased security. So HID being a security company themselves and being in that business, this gave them an extra level of confidence having their front office and their back office workloads running in Oracle Cloud. It achieved security measures that they didn't initially have in place at that point in time, and they were able to get that by moving to OCI. It gave them higher performance. Their batch processing, their online transactions, their forms and reports were performing at a much higher performance metric than what they were getting on their on-premise and in their data center operations. It helped them reduce operational costs. In fact, when we started that cloud journey with HID, we did a quick evaluation from a dollar perspective of what their current spend was in their data center to sit there and host their applications and technology, the hardware, the software, the virtualization, the networking, power cooling, all that stuff that you got to put in hard and soft costs. OCI, just from one flat UCC, came in at 50% less than what their annual spend was. So it was kind of a no-brainer just from a cost perspective, moving their workloads into OCI. But you get the benefits of automation. You've got tools that Oracle provides. Basically, one click, you can sit there and do upgrades. Patching is much simpler. The speed to deploy things, and of course, security all the way around gave them a reason to move to OCI versus any other cloud provider.
This is Satish back again. Over the next few slides, I'll walk through at a high level, the migration approach. This is a typical reference architecture for standing up workloads in OCI. Ours, HID's, uses this, and it's very similar to our setup. Is very similar to this. The benefits of OCI, of course, is we have multiple HA options with 2 ADs in a zone. Choices of various VM shapes, or bare metals. In certain cases, we had to put our firewalls on bare metal because the VM shape wasn't satisfactory. So you have the flexibility there, and of course the compute elasticity to scale up and scale down as needed based on workloads, month-end processing, and things of that nature. High-performing block volumes, and really good connectivity options back to our back-end facilities here in Austin. Then, of course, on the database side, scale up and scale down as needed. Data guard availability for our reporting data guard, which we've also stood up. So it provides the entire framework for standing up your workloads. The nice thing about running e-business or moving your e-business workload to Oracle Cloud is Oracle offers you a lot of tools and utilities to make that migration easier, and also to manage utilities to manage your instances in the cloud. So Oracle has invested heavily in that space. And to talk about that a little bit more, let me have Vish jump in here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Satish. I'm happy to do it. So like you said, Oracle's investing a lot in making the experience of being able to take these Oracle applications that might be running on premises and then being able to move them in an automated fashion into the cloud. And not just the movement of it, but the lifecycle management of that entire application much easier for our customers as well. So as an example, like I said, you can take the Cloud Manager, have it point to a running instance of your business suite, have it move over to the cloud, and then you have the ability to decide what the deployment topology is going to be. So if you wanted to deploy the entire instance of your business suite on infrastructure, you have the ability to do that. Or if you want to say, hey, I want to be able to take advantage of database cloud service, so deploy the database tier using the database cloud service, you can do that. Or if you want to specify things like I want to take advantage of the Exa Cloud service, or I want the rack portion to be enabled, etc., you have the option of doing all of that as well. Thanks, Satish.
Okay, thank you, Vish.
This is Jim, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about the phased implementation approach for HID's back office workloads to OCI. We talked about the 2 chunks of back office applications that comprised of 10 different enterprise workloads, and we did the first 5 in a set, and then the second 5 in a second set. And we talked about that the first journey was 24 weeks. And to do that, we broke it down into really 4 unique steps. One was prepping for the implementation, making sure we had OCI configured and built out, networking and security in place. That was really that first prep phase. And then, of course, along the journey, we lifted EBS, moved it across. We started the upgrade actually on OCI, where we did not do it on premise. We found it to be much better over on the OCI side, and that's what we did. The third chunk was in retrofitting, making sure that first set of applications, SOA PIP, Agile, Discoverer, and Vertex was integrated, worked as it needed to. And then, of course, the last phase was going live with those enterprise workloads on OCI. And then, of course, once we finished that, we took about a 2-week pause, and then we started that second set of the last 5 workloads for back office. Let's talk briefly about some of the benefits HID realized by moving those workloads to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. One of the things that both HID and Centroid did after the go live, we kind of did a post-mortem of the project, what went well, what didn't go well. And we actually tallied up way more things that went well than the latter, which is good. But we really wanted to put some metrics in place and capitalize on those, both for internal to HID and also for Centroid out in the marketplace, and also with our partner Oracle. We really came into these four buckets, if you will. And if you remember, one of the major motives and initiatives for HID was to get out of the data center business, managing those workloads. They wanted to focus on their core competencies of the business, help them double their revenue. And really moving those workloads to OCI, we found that there was a 50% savings over what their spend was on an annual basis running those workloads in a data center. 50% is huge. In fact, I think some of the other cloud providers talk about lift and shift or move and improve. You can start with 35% and get to that 45% mark. For HID Global, we got to the 50% mark savings, which is huge. Another area was around performance of the applications and the technology. Again, 10 set of applications is kind of a suite running their back office applications, and we were achieving in some cases up to as high as 60% on batch processing as well as online transactions versus their on-premise solution that they had. And of course, it talked about the growth to adding another $1 billion in revenue. At the time that we put this together, they were 90% of the way there, which is a huge initiative and a huge objective and goal that they were accomplishing by moving and getting out of the data center and focusing on their business. Getting to that subscription recurring revenue model has definitely helped, one of the big benefits for HID Global. And of course, 55%, just reducing cycle times in projects. Typically, you might want to clone an environment, stand it up for another project, or in HID's case, they were on acquisition sprees that also helped them get to that growth that we talked about. And so having speed and value time to market was critical, and we captured about 55% reduction in cycle times of about having new instances or new environments or being able to clone things rapidly. And so this was a huge saving that also allowed HID to participate and get to those objectives a little sooner than later.
This is Satish back again. So given that most of our workloads are already in the cloud, especially EBS and its associated applications workloads, what's next in terms of the HID's journey? So we still have to migrate other non-Oracle back office workloads to the cloud, to OCI. We're in the process of migrating several SQL Server workloads to the cloud. We want to re-architect our front office custom applications onto OCI PaaS. So anything that, our strategy always is this, anything that can run on PaaS or will go to PaaS or DBaaS, but anything that can't will of course go IaaS. That's been our strategy all along. Accelerate some of the PaaS deployments, so we're implementing several new cloud applications platforms like Analytics Cloud Service, EDMCS. We're also implementing as part of our analytics projects the Autonomous Data Warehouse. We're also investing heavily in Oracle's integration technology, using Oracle's Integration Cloud Service to connect our on-prem EBS environments to other, EBS environments in OCI to other applications. We're doing a lot of single sign-on using IDCS as the provider. Then as part of a journey, we're also hardening up our environments by implementing HA across regions, and also finish up where DR needs to get hardened. Vish, I'll hand it off to you at this point.
Thank you, Satish. So here are a number of customer testimonials. All of these are Centroid's customers. You'll see some marquee names here, including Toshiba and Canon. Feel free to review their success and what each of these companies was able to accomplish with the help of Centroid. Okay, and then lastly, let me quickly wrap up with a couple of next steps. So there's a very easy way of starting your free trial. You can go to the URL that's mentioned there. You have access to the always free tier which comes with a couple of instances of autonomous databases, a couple of VMs, some storage, and a few additional capabilities like a single instance of a load balancer, etc. And then in addition to that, you can also have $300 in one-time credit that will allow you to try any of the other services that are available as well, from infrastructure as well as platform perspective. Take advantage of that, and reach out to Jim Brule as well. They have very deep experience and expertise in working with Oracle applications as well as the Oracle Cloud. So they will be very happy to work with you in architecting a solution that meets your needs. So with that, Sarah, I will turn it over to you for a Q&A if we have any questions lined up.
Hey, thanks, Fish. Excellent recap, and thank you both, Satish and Jim, for being with us here today. I would like to kick off our Q&A session for today's webinar. A quick reminder to the audience, on the right-hand side of your console, there's a Q&A widget where you can submit any questions you have, and we'll be answering those live. If for any reason you don't see the form on the right-hand side of your screen, check the bottom of your monitor, and you should see a Q&A at the bottom as well, and you can just click that and open up the chat widget and submit your questions there. Our first question coming in is, did you think about doing dev and test first and not starting with production?
I'll take that
Satish
one.
And Jim, this is, yeah.
Our plan was always to do them all, so ultimately to have production in OCI, but of course we approached it in phases, did test and dev first, prove that out and make sure it met our needs, and then we migrated production.
Perfect, and that worked really well for you guys, it seems. Got your feet wet and then jumped in. Our next question here is, do you do any sizing from current state to future state? Did you do any sizing from current state to future state to show any performance gains as you were going through this migration?
I'll jump in, Sarah, and grab this one. When we started the migration of dev test and eventually prod, one of the key initiatives that HID Global wanted to hit was get out of the data center business and pretty much, cloud journey, try to get to cloud as soon as possible so they can focus on growing the business and hitting that billion-dollar growth milestone. And so looking at sizing and performance gains really wasn't the driver for them. However, as we got to production and did cut over and went live, one of the very first things that the CEO did of HID Global was to call the CIO, congratulate him of a project that went very, very smooth, and then two, the impact that the business already had that first week, which they were seeing performance gains just across their Oracle business suite, whether it was reports or forms or transacting or batch jobs, they were seeing performance gains across the board. So it was a nice value add that wasn't necessarily part of the cloud journeys going dev, test, prod to OCI, but it was definitely a value add that was achieved along the way.
That's excellent. Happy to hear that. Okay, we've got another question here. When you are implementing enterprise-wide HA and DR for the front and back office, what are your goals and timelines there for your next steps?
Yeah, Satish, maybe you and I will tag team this one because I think there's two different viewpoints. From a consulting point of view, we wanted to make sure HID Global not only had their non-prods and their production systems running seamlessly in OCI, but at the same time we wanted new initiatives across the business and IT to make sure they had high availability as well as disaster recovery for not only the back office applications, which really are their the heart of their systems, but also the front office where they had a lot of customers out there in the market space using their systems, and they depended on them 24/7. So it was key, for business and IT at HID to have those front office and back office systems performing 24/7. So having the high availability as well as disaster recovery, helped ensure HID's continuity no matter what the situation might be.
Just to tack on to what Jim said, as our business grows, we're investing heavily in e-commerce, business-to-business e-commerce, and to have that reliability, the back-end systems also need to be highly available, so that's sort of a big driver for us in implementing HA.
Perfect. Great. Well, Jim and Satish and Vish, thank you again so much for joining us today. I'm actually going to close out our Q&A session for this webinar. Questions from the audience, if you still have ones coming in, that's okay. We'll keep answering those live. And if yours hasn't been answered, just give us a second. We will continue to answer those as we get them. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's webinar. We're excited to have you here with us, and we hope that you will enjoy future webinars with us. In the resource widget, you can find a link to our webinars that are coming up and also our collection of webinars that we have on demand. So check those out and come back and talk with us more. Thanks so much.